Yeah, and I think that is the real problem. And also, it's not just about the fact that they're not actually clamping down on immigration. There are so many other issues that needs to be raised, which the Labour Party stands for, like welfare, education, the NHS. We've got so much shortage of skilled people to fill in, even the NHS, with over 100,000 vacancies. And expenses are still high. They're targeting very vulnerable people at the moment, and it's not the way to go, across by just basically coming off the back of the by-elections of what they think that the people want, which is just reform. For Heimer, Mohammed got seriously worked up, as if Labour even sounding remotely like Reform UK was the beginning of the end. And to be fair, she's not wrong about Labour's mess. But brushing off illegal immigration like it's just background noise, that's where things start to smell off. Funny how she seems more upset by the tone of the conversation than by the fact that our borders are pretty much wide open. Before we continue, tell us, are you enjoying the video so far? If yes, please take a moment to like and share it, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Now, let's get back to it. Two things happened this week. Firstly, we learned immigration is the #1 issue in this country, only because that's the only thing we told and spoken about. Okay. So, this is what's interesting, Michelle. This is the left narrative. We're all, no, it's not. I'm not the left. Why did you call me the left? Can I finish? We're all talking about immigration. And that's the reason we're not all talking about immigration. Can I finish? We're all talking about immigration. That's why immigration is the #1 issue, as opposed to, it's nothing to do with the record numbers of people who are actually coming into our country. Yes, everyone's talking about it. And no, shouting the loudest doesn't make you the voice of the nation. Immigration levels have hit record highs. And where's the government in all this? Right where you'd expect, pointing fingers, making empty promises, and occasionally karma pops up with a lukewarm deport them, as if that will solve anything. We've been watching this political theater from day one, and frankly, people are tired. Really tired. And the second thing we've learned this week is 85% of Brits want net migration reduced below 100,000, and nearly half the country want zero migration. And you're acting as though K-Star is kind of speaking up for this mad extreme fringe. Most people in this country want less immigration. It's not that hard. Well, I'm sorry. Now I really do feel that you are basically trying to talk for everyone when it's not the case. Everywhere else, they do not just only mention immigration. It is much more. It's the only rhetoric that I hear from people like yourself. And I'm not calling you far right or anything. So don't call me that, because there's certain things that I even agree with when it comes to the other side. It's not about that. We have to do so much more to get this country back on in order than just immigration. And that's not going to erase any of the economics and the problems that are there. It is really not that. It's just what you want to raise. And everyone else, she's calling it just immigration. Seriously, that's incredibly out of touch. Brushing off Labour's lack of a clear migration policy if it doesn't matter. All while the country is crying out for some real control. And as for the economic arguments she keeps pushing, let's sit down and have an honest conversation about that, because it's not as simple as she makes it sound. As I say, it's a #1 issue in the country. That's the British people, because that's a telescope right now. That's the British people who are saying, we don't want to have to deal with these record numbers of people, many of whom are breaking our laws. And it's the British people who are watching this show, who are being asked to pay 15 billion champion safe spaces for refugees, and that's fair. But things get quieter when the impact hits home. When once quiet towns start appearing on crime maps, people feel the difference. It's easy to speak about ideals when you're not the one living with the daily consequences, isn't it? Starting point is always what about the rights and the sense of fairness for people who are coming outside the country, who are breaking, I'm sorry, you're not all breaking the law. They're not all breaking the law. You live in some fantasy land. No, you live in a very different land. The British culture is based on the notion of fair play, which is if people come into the country, which is humanitarian as well, refuge, and it's also Christian, for you to also not be so hostile, like you and talk, like you, and put everyone in that sort of boat, right there. 300,000 refugees in recent years, and you're sat there saying that we are not humanitarian. What planet are you living on? You don't even need to watch the whole clip. This one moment sums it up perfectly. We're being lectured about humanitarianism, British values, and morality by people who once benefited immensely from this country. And now, as the UK gets mocked and labelled a soon-to-be third world country just for showing a bit of compassion, those same voices are back, not with gratitude, but with criticism. They're scolding us for doing more than most nations would ever dare to. It's not just insulting, it's completely out of touch. Don't break. It's so easy for you to say when your family is not being, bombed and they're not actually being asked to pay for the crisis. I'm a taxpayer. I work hard. Everyone watching this show, right? So why should those people be asked to pay, be asked to spend billions of pounds every year on a crisis that their leaders refuse to fix? Well then, it's not their fault. It is the politicians' fault to get it right and to get those protesters right. The crisis. Yes, the crisis. But don't just blame the sort of migrants that are coming. It is to do with the politicians and people like yourself who are in these kind of, big sort of parties that are putting the blame on the wrong people and the wrong side. It should be fixing policies and making decisions that is also within rights of the humanitarian sort of an international law and looking after the British values. Not to say that, some of them are going to be criminal, but again, you put everyone, take lectures on what are British values. I'm not giving you a lecture. I'm just giving you my point of view, like how you giving me. Matt Goodwin didn't just hold his ground. He dominated the debate with clear, uncompromising